It's been almost 6 years since the first Death Stranding launched, and it's funny looking back. The sheer amount of discussion, the bewilderment, the confusion over whether director Hideo Kojima had finally lost it by taking the walking sim concept to the extreme. And that was before any of us even tackled the story. Memorable characters, the subtext of each personality assailing you up front before the layers of their tragic pasts unfold, brand new concepts that envisioned a different post-apocalyptic world, one that would be unknowingly reflective of the real-world society for the next few years. It was equal amounts bold, divisive, tedious, and enthralling. And for all intents and purposes, it felt non-replicable, even by Kojima himself. A sequel seemed almost as impossible as one for 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Viable, but only with the right amount of insanity. For better or worse, it seems Kojima Productions has one-upped itself with Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Based on everything we've seen, it could very well be the game to beat this year, both in terms of competition and sheer priority. Granted, all information in this video is sourced from officially released materials and previously revealed content. And yet, this could be one of the very pinnacles of gaming in 2025 when it launches on June 26th for PS5. It's a bold claim, even for a Kojima title, especially for a franchise like Death Stranding, but there is a solid argument to be had. First is its iterative nature. Drawing comparison to the first Metal Gear Solid, Kojima told IGN in a previous interview about how you didn't have weapons at the beginning and needed to learn the stealth mechanics to progress. So while Death Stranding started slow and steady, acclimating players to its delivery systems and mechanics, the sequel, much like Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, kicks into high gear much sooner. Not only do you get a reverse strike much sooner in Death Stranding 2, but the overall quality of driving has improved, making it much easier to get around if you need a break from hiking. There's a greater selection of weapons, including shotguns and grenade launchers, per the official PlayStation page, but you also have many more options for just sneaking around. Dispatch foes with takedowns, use a grenade to project a hologram of a BT to scare off any humans, or even equip a bolus launcher for ranged, non-lethal attacks. Essentially, the game lets you take a range of different approaches. It's less like a game of tag, as lead level designer Hiroaki Yoshiaki told Edge magazine, and more about providing a range of approaches to every situation that you face. For instance, if you're still intent on delivering packages through non-lethal means and without sneaking, then you can avoid fights altogether by selecting rougher terrain. It's another layer to the problem solving, and best of all, the enemies will react accordingly, chasing you further than before. That's before taking into account the new enemy and BT types, including new bosses. The process of delivery has become more complex, with even more tools and options than before, including robotic gear that carries you around. But to add even further wrinkles to the exploration, you'll have to contend with phenomena like earthquakes, which can upset your balance, and dust storms that obscure visibility. Even if you're someone skilled in delivery who found the ideal route, it could very well morph and change in real time, and you need to adapt accordingly. Then there's the day and night cycle, where venturing out in the cover of darkness can be advantageous for stealth, but also makes it more difficult to see the terrain. There are other elements that I find intriguing, like the new APAS enhancement system, which allows for improving traits in 4 categories by using memories. The catch is that they're limited, and so you'll need to make some tough choices. Proficiency also allows for improving different actions as you repeat them, meaning you're rewarded for leaning into specific gameplay styles. However, the arguably biggest reason to look forward to Death Stranding 2 is the story. I was one of those people who found the original story baffling, long-winded, and outright indecipherable based on second-hand impressions. However, upon delving into it myself, the world unraveled with so many rich mysteries and concepts, even if some, like the Still Mothers, were off-putting. Learning more about the extinction entities, untangling the complexities of the beach and repatriation, discovering Cliff's true identity, and most importantly, the bond between Sam and his BB, all made for an unforgettable adventure. Yeah, it's not for everyone, but it still resonates in fascinating ways for those who can get into it. And, right off the bat, Death Stranding 2 on the beach has me enthralled with its mysteries. How has Higgs returned, and what of the change in his appearance? What is his potential connection with Tomorrow, whose very origins and nature are unknown? What is the backstory for characters like Rainy, Tarman, and Dollman, and how will their stories unfold? We've seen characters like Hartman confirmed to return, but what about Die Hardman, Lockney, and Deadman? Then there's the overall narrative, which starts in Mexico and ventures to Australia, where Sam must set about reconnecting the continent. Something seemingly happens in the opening hours that cause a shift and his subsequent affiliation with Drawbridge, which probably also explains the change in his hair color from the very first trailer. Either way, with how the first game concluded, what are the dangers that potentially await this time? Why should we have not connected, as Kojima likes to remind us constantly with each teaser? Yeah, I know, there's a deeper meaning to this influenced by the post-pandemic world, but still. This is all on top of the other more ambiguous reveals, like the Red Samurai or Neil, the latter played by Luca Marinelli, and a dead ringer for Solid Snake. Also, Magellan Man, the combination of the DHV Magellan, Drawbridge's vessel with a giant BT to engage in what seems like kaiju-esque battles. That alone is worth getting stoked about. And if that wasn't enough, there's the sheer length and scale of this adventure. Eurogamer said it played for 30 hours, which represents about 40% of the main story according to Kojima Productions. Quick math indicates a 75-hour-long journey, one that potentially doesn't include side quests or additional content. Considering that the first game takes about 40 hours or so to finish the story and 60 hours with extra content for how long to beat, Death Stranding 2 on the beach looks like it will outright consume one's life as they delve deeper into it. Whether that's the intention or not, there's no denying that for those who vibe with its narrative and world, it's going to be a roller coaster that will be difficult to pull away from. Too much hype can be dangerous, and some skepticism is always welcome. But it feels like Kojima Productions and Hideo Kojima in general will meet and even surpass those expectations, even if it's in ways that none of us could comprehend. Maybe it's the irrational ponderings of someone who truly thinks Death Stranding 2 will be on another level from almost everything released this year. But the excitement is infectious. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.